So in this video, I want to talk about Pydantic. More precisely, I'm going to introduce it to you, and then we take a look at 3 examples from simple to hard. So what is Pydantic? It is a Python library which we can use to translate unstructured text which we receive from an LLM into executable code. There are 3 main advantages of using Pydantic. The first one is, as I said, the translation from unstructured text which we receive from an LLM into executable code. The second is validation, so we can define some validation rules and then check or validate these validation rules. And the third upside is function calling. So we can take an object which we have inside our Python code and then convert it into a JSON string and pass this string into an LLM. But how does this look like in practice? Let's take a look at our shell. Here I am inside an empty directory, and first I want to make sure that I have Pydantic installed. Pydantic. As you can see, it's already installed, and we can create a little test script here. First, I'm going to import Pydantic, the base model, and then I'm going to define our class user base model, and it has 3 fields. It has an ID, it has a name, and it has an isActive boolean. Bool equals to true. Now we can define our first user. We can say ID equals to 1 and then name equals to Alice. We can define a second user here. We can also, this is the magic of Pydantic, we can also add a string and it will automatically convert it into an integer. Let's call this Bob, and then we can print user1. Let's say user1 like this. We can also print specific fields, so we can say ID, let's say of user2, and then we can also print a type, let's say type user2 ID. That's good. And now we can also print user1.modelDump. So we can use this to pass it into an LLM. Let's call this Python script, and we can see that we get the correct user1, which we defined. We get the ID of user2, and we get a type of the ID of user2, which is an integer. And here we see the object converted into a JSON object. So now we can go back into our Python file and we can enforce some validation. So we can say this is a field which should be greater than 0. And then we need to also import the field package and then field validator like that. And then we can also enforce some custom validations. So we can say here that this should be a field validator on the name. And it should be a class method. We define it as make title case. So we get the class, we get the string, and we return a string. And then we say return v.title. And now if we say create the object 1, the user1 with a lowercase name, and also user2, we will see that it will convert it back into an uppercase name. And what will happen if we pass a ID which is lower than 0, for instance -1? Yep, Pydantic will throw an error as expected. So you can see we can define our very own custom validation rules, which is very useful. But now I want to add some more information on our fields. So right now we have the ID field here, and we can also say ... and then we can add a description. We can say this is the ID of the user. We can do the same for our name field, field ... and the ... means that this field is required and the LLM should come up with the correct value by itself. This is the name of the user. Perfect. And now we can print JSON dumps, and we can add the user.model JSON scheme and indent equals 2. We import JSON. Let's see if this will work. Perfect. So you can see that this is the string that we can provide to our LLM in order to instruct it what we expect from it. So I hope you find this video useful and see you in the next one.